Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of the Inspection Pit, which is my series talking about locomotives. Now, before we start, just a few things about the channel. I haven't been able to upload anything since whenever my last video was. I don't remember right now. I had some personal issues, and then one of my SD cards got corrupted, and I pretty much lost everything from the last 8-10 months. So there's that. Also, I'm living in South Carolina at this point, but I am moving back to Illinois later in the month, so don't worry, you're still gonna see plenty of content involving Metra, Amtrak, BNSF. While I'm down here, my focus is mainly on CSX and Norfolk Southern, which are the two big railroads around here. The Amtrak trains going through here are, of course, the Silver Meteor and the Palmetto. Look those up if you want to. Also, for those of you who are around my channel before around last December, January, yes, I am transgender, and if you don't like that, just get out. There's no reason, there's no reason to stick around here if you don't like me or my content. So keep the flag to World War II games. Oh, and that reminds me, I'm also a history buff, so I'm gonna start doing history videos at some point. You might hear me make some World War II references. Personally, I think it was the water tank, because once the Santa Fe got their hands on a few of them, the problem seemed to just go away. But tangent over. So the F40PH was developed for Amtrak as a replacement for the SDP-40F. This is really starting to get out of sync.
Will not stop.
Here's one of my own videos of an F40PHM-2 leading a westbound express train in the early afternoon at Riverside. This was just PHM-2 poles. And then here's just some more footage of Metra trains, this time in Bellsboro. The first train as I was saying, the SDP-40F was a problem. This is an SDP-40F, by the way. And you can see that these were big engines, They were developed from the SD40-2. They were supposed to be powerful because, in the kind of Amtrak is a national railroad going through varied territory. They need enough power to be able to get over mountains. So what the F40 series has in common with the SDP40F and the SD40-2 is that both series are 3,000 horsepower. As far as I know, the F40 series usually weighs between 130 and 150 tons. So about standard weight. You're equipped with head-end power. And of course the SDP40F was equipped with a steam generator. They were ordered to replace E units such as this. I believe this is an E8. In Amtrak's first paint scheme, this was likely taken on one of the first days of service. Former Penn Central unit, repainted with Amtrak's logo, number 4316. This is a good example of the units that came before these other units that were based on freight locomotives. So the F40 series was built starting around 1976, 77. So some of Amtrak's units used parts from trading SDP40Fs. Still has a few, the MBTA up in Boston. But just for comparison, here's a photograph. Not sure where this was taken. But in the center here is an SDP40. F40PHM-2. SDP40F will be in its own video. And on each side are just standard F40PHs. I believe Metra's standards are Dash 2s. Nowadays they're being rebuilt into Dash 3s. A couple at a time being sent up to Boise, Idaho. But here's an old photo from the F40PHM-2s themselves. Were delivered in 1992 and 1993 to replace these, again, E units, which at the time were some of the oldest commuter power still remaining in the country. Unfortunately, they're gone now. But you can still see a few of them in museums, like the Illinois Railway Museum. I believe one of their E units was one of these Burlington route units that eventually went on to Burlington Northern, and then Metra, but still in the BN paint scheme. Now some of the equipment, as in some of the passenger cars, are still owned by BNSF, the successor to Burlington Northern. And officially, it's known as the line that these served on is now known as the BNSF line officially, but most people, me included, still call it the Burlington, the Q. Rail fans call it the racetrack, but I prefer it to be a little more technical. Chicago subdivision, whatever you want to call it. But these also run on the Rock Island, the Milwaukee Road lines, and a Southwest service. Not sure about the Heritage Corridor currently, but I have seen Metra's F59PHs there. So, not sure. Again, I haven't been up in Chicago in, a little while. When I get up there, I'll do an update. But around now with the holiday season, I'm going to be a little bit busy. Although I'm still going to manage to try and get some videos in. I have some stuff from different train simulators coming. The New York and Seashore is coming along fairly nicely. Nowhere near complete, though. I decided to do that one in sections, but anyway, I should really get going. So again, here's just gonna play that video again just to show.
Next time you're planning to fly somewhere, consider going with a carrier who has spent the last 7.5 years rebuilding its entire fleet. A fleet that now offers you some of the newest, most technologically advanced equipment in the world. Not surprisingly, it's also among the most...
But the most recent development in the news of the F40PHM-2 is this, which is the Burlington Route Heritage Unit. You know, it's Burlington Route emblem, which you can't really read there, but I like it. I haven't caught this one yet. Of course, I'll immediately update whenever I'm able to catch Metro's Heritage Units. If I'm correct, currently they have 3 of them. There's this one in Burlington, and there's one for the Rock Island, and one for the Milwaukee Road. But that's the history of the F40PHM-2. These rebuilds that they're going through at this point should keep them in service for another couple decades. You're probably going to see at least one F40PHM-2 in this one. But if you want to see F40PHM-2s, just go to a station along the Milwaukee Road lines, which are the best thing along those lines, which historically was where the Milwaukee Road crossed the Elgin, Joliet, Eastern, and the Chicago North Shore in Milwaukee. The North Shore, of course, being interurban. I'm kind of a fan of interurbans and steam era stuff. My model railroad is going to start working on as soon as I move. The Pennsylvania Railroad branch. These are the cars that are owned by BNSF. southwest
no
suburbs.
defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axle 3-2
Also
out.
another great spot to go in Chicago is Joliet. And excuse me, even though still get up there, it's usually left open. There are a couple videos on my channel from here. Really good spot to go in there and really do which is perfectly right since every time I'm up there it's windy and it always changes direction. So if it's cold, bring a coat. Sorry for the shakiness of this video. This is before I had a tripod. That's a standard F40 there, by the way. So as you can see, I like to do these reflections. I like to do the shots that kind of emphasize the environment. I really like this. I don't remember what his channel is called. I'll look at it after the stream, just in the description. Sorry, that was my dad on the left. He appears without my permission in some of my videos. So, the train's going fairly fast. They have a chronic delay problem. Now these westbound trains right out of Chicago are usually on time for obvious reasons. But the eastbound trains, one time I was in Downers Grove and I was inside a restaurant there at about, it's probably like 10 p.m. at that point. And just outside of the window I saw the eastbound Zephyr flash by. So about 8 hours late. And as you can see, it's still kind of beat up. But that's not to say that you should ride on Amtrak trains that way up. I love riding trains. It's an enjoyable experience for the most part, except for sometimes day where you're getting drunk. It's not unique to trains. I've dealt with that on flights too. The train kids. So if you're gonna ride in rush hour, I highly recommend quiet cars on metro trains. Long distance Amtrak trains don't have quiet cars, but the shorter distance trains do. Just over a year ago, I took a trip from Chicago to Milwaukee and back on a Saturday on Amtrak Hiawatha trains. I remember the numbers. I'll talk more about that trip later. I still have the footage from that somewhere. I have a lot of footage somewhere, except for that from the last 8 months, which that all got corrupted, which is too bad because it included losers. 7 years number 4 in that carries Amtrak, most of the manifests, unit trains. Some very nice small towns in that area. Just your standard Midwestern small town, nothing unusual. But, so in terms of highways, Route 30 parallels the Aurora sub closely. Route 34 roughly runs in the same direction as the Mendota sub. There's a really nice station museum at Mendota. It includes a Milwaukee Wood combine car and a Frisco dining, not Frisco, Southern Pacific dining car from the Golden State. There's something else there, but I don't know stop there except for the California Zephyr. I don't know why it stops, why it doesn't stop at
Metro commuters, your attention please. The next outbound Metro train from Chicago is now arriving in your station. Metro commuters, your attention please. The next outbound Metro train from Chicago is now arriving in your station.
just a short one-train video taken as I was walking along the tracks. I'm not going to explain why I was walking along the tracks. It's personal, I'm not going to get into that. But I was lucky enough that I was able to catch that. F40PHM-2 was built in 1992 and 1993 as part of the older F40 series.
Next time you're planning to fly somewhere, consider going with a carrier who has spent the last 7.5 years rebuilding its entire...
SDP-40F, which was a failure mainly because of its steam generator. Debate me on that if you disagree. Write it in the comments, but please be respectful. I want my comment sections to be civilized debate rather than just attacks. None of that attacking, insulting stuff is necessary. It's just a waste of electricity. Tangent over. And then those SDP-40Fs were built to replace E units. Ironically, after the SDP-40F's problems became apparent, some of the E units were brought back for a while until the F40s arrived. And this is just a perfect example of the situation in 1992 and 1993. New F40s, F40PHM-2s that were serving alongside the aging E units. If you're wondering why most Metro units have these beacons on top, I'm not quite sure. I know that just about everything is built with a Mars light, and that was... I'm not sure whether they kept it because I'm not sure whether it actually prevents grade crossing collisions because there's still a lot of them in Chicago, but it's probably kept more as a matter of tradition. I know Amtrak hasn't kept them, which you can see if you can look at you can see that if you look at any of my videos of Amtrak trains behind P42s. The Burlington route was one of the first railroads to use the Mars light, which was also invented in Chicago, so it might be just a matter of tradition. But if you compare older and newer photos, you'll notice that in the older photos, you'll see this white trim around the front windshields. I'm not sure whether they might have just repainted it or
Will not stop.
or whether it just got weathered so you can't see it anymore. They get all covered in soot. Because, anyone familiar with commuter operations, big at night scenes. And even a place like Downers Grove, it's really busy.
Next time you're planning to...
This has probably gone on too long. Anyway, so... And it is 12:10 a.m. here, and I need to go to school tomorrow, so I'm gonna wrap it up. So, thanks for watching. It's, again, unnecessary. But anyway, I'm not one of those people who's going to pressure you to subscribe. Subscribe if you want. Every little bit helps, but it's not a big deal. But anyway, thanks for watching, and have a nice night or